Welcome to AI Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: pulling off a soft landing depends on the pilot. Who wants to catch Jack Ma's falling knife? Get ready for Black Fraud Day. China tech optimism rekindled amid slowly thawing China-US ties. Biden and Xi have far to go if they want to lift Cold War clouds. Pulling off a soft landing depends on the pilot. Bloomberg. The global economy's ability to achieve a soft landing has become a topic of interest in recent weeks. Soft landings, in which economic growth slows but avoids a recession, are rare. However, there is optimism that central banks' efforts to control inflation will not result in a downturn. Data suggests that it is possible for inflation to decline to 2% without a recession, although this outcome is far from guaranteed. Unemployment levels are also rising, which could indicate the possibility of a recession. However, it is still too early to determine whether a hard landing is inevitable. The absence of geopolitical triggers for a downturn is encouraging, although the behavior of oil prices is a cause for concern. Ultimately, the success of achieving a soft landing depends on the actions of central banks, particularly the Federal Reserve. Who wants to catch Jack Ma's falling knife? Bloomberg. Alibaba has suspended plans to spin off its cloud operations and paused the listing of its supermarket unit, causing its stock to drop and wiping $20 billion off the company's market value. Founder Jack Ma's family trust also plans to sell 10 million shares within the next week. The company is undergoing a major business revamp and has been replacing much of its C-suite, while also needing to spend billions of dollars on new fields such as generative AI. Investors are concerned about who will be held accountable for the company's future spending. Get ready for Black Fraud Day. Financial Times. Consumer spending on Black Friday in the UK is predicted to fall by more than 25% this year, according to PwC's annual Black Friday survey. The survey found that 56% of Brits do not intend to buy anything in a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale this year. Meanwhile, UK finance data shows that purchase scams, where items ordered and paid for online do not arrive, are the fastest growing type of fraud. Younger generations are more likely to be targeted as many scams originate on social media. Scammers use tactics such as offering huge discounts and creating a sense of urgency by setting a countdown clock for the discount, to convince people to enter their card details. Consumer groups warn that fraudsters are becoming more sophisticated, using generative AI to create professional-looking communications. UK banks have warned customers to be vigilant against phishing scams and to check the legitimacy of emails and texts. China tech optimism rekindled amid slowly thawing China-US ties. Bloomberg. Chinese tech companies Baidu, Xiaomi, and Kuaishou Technology are set to report earnings following talks between Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Joe Biden. The talks focused on cooperation in fields such as artificial intelligence, AI, with the US expressing concerns about China's use of AI for military purposes. Baidu and Kuaishou Technology face economic challenges, while Xiaomi's smartphone business has stabilized. Meanwhile, China is expected to face debt and deflation challenges in 2022. Xiaomi's sales are expected to be little changed, Baidu's revenue is projected to increase, and Kuaishou Technology's performance is uncertain. Biden and Xi have far to go if they want to lift Cold War clouds. Bloomberg. The recent summit between US President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping proved to be a modest success, with both sides agreeing to collaborate on climate change and artificial intelligence, and to resume military-to-military contacts. However, the meeting did not address bigger and more divisive issues such as trade and competition over technology. There are plans for occasional meetings between middle-ranking officials, but no future high-level interactions were announced. The summit did not clarify what comes next in US-China relations, even as 2024 shapes up to be a crucial year for the bilateral relationship. Publicly, the two leaders failed to agree on the nature of their relationship, with Biden describing it as competitive while Xi rejected the idea of an existential competition. The Chinese leader also glossed over the grievances of foreign investors. The summit's success is therefore limited and the two countries still face significant challenges. Britain's smaller stocks will ultimately recover and our portfolio is poised to benefit. Telegraph. Investors in smaller companies should not give up on their returns, despite a poor performance in the FTSE AIM All-Share Index, which has fallen 15% this year, according to Questo's inheritance tax portfolio. The performance of its AIM stocks has dropped by 6%, but this is far better than the index's decline of over 30% in the same period. Questor expects that monetary policy will stimulate the economy, stock market and sentiment towards Britain's smaller firms, but warns investors to be cautious. Alibaba shares plunge after reversing spin-off plan of cloud unit. Nikkei Asia. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba has scrapped plans to spin off its cloud unit. The company said tougher U.S. restrictions on chip technology had created uncertainty around the prospects of the Cloud Intelligence Group. As a result, Alibaba said a full spin-off would not achieve the intended effect of shareholder value enhancement. The company will instead focus on developing a sustainable growth model for the unit in fluid circumstances. The company also put an initial public offering of its Freshippo groceries business on hold, citing the need to evaluate market conditions and other factors that would contribute to a successful transaction. Last month, the U.S. tightened its export controls on artificial intelligence chips, including NVIDIA's A800 and H800 models, by requiring that companies apply for licenses if they want to ship cutting-edge AI chips to clients in China and other designated markets. Xi's big week ends with rare wins on U.S. ties, Taiwan, economy. Bloomberg. Chinese President Xi Jinping has concluded his visit to the U.S. on a positive note, following a week of good news for Beijing. During his visit, Xi met with U.S. President Joe Biden and both leaders agreed to better manage tensions and work towards a more friendly relationship. This will reduce the risk of a crisis that could raise military tensions at a time when Xi is dealing with a major property market slump and a shakeup in senior leadership positions. Xi's trip also included a speech at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum and a warm welcome from some of the most important U.S. business leaders. Additionally, a new political alignment in Taiwan has boosted the chances of a China-friendly leader taking power in the January election. This week's events have given China's economy a boost, with data suggesting that the country is putting its recent difficulties behind it. However, this positive stretch may be short-lived, as previous détentes have quickly been derailed. Nonetheless, it is a significant development for Xi, who is facing corruption concerns and faltering domestic confidence in his economy. Meta launches AI-based video editing tools. Reuters. Meta Platforms has introduced two new AI-based features for video editing on Instagram and Facebook. The first feature, Emu Video, generates 4-second videos with a caption, photo, or image paired with a description. The second feature, Emu Edit, allows users to easily alter or edit videos with text prompts. These tools are based on the Emu model, which generates images in response to text prompts. Meta Platforms has been expanding its presence in the AI market and aims to compete with other tech giants such as Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Corporate, global leaders peer into a future expected to be reshaped by AI, for better or worse. Associated Press. Tech CEOs and global leaders gathered for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Conference in San Francisco to discuss artificial intelligence, AI, and its impact on society. While many CEOs, such as Microsoft's Satya Nadella and Google's Sundar Pichai, expressed optimism about AI's potential to transform industries and improve living standards, others, such as former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, warned of the risks of misusing the technology. Concerns centered around job displacement and the need to retrain workers who lose their jobs due to AI advancements. The exciting evolution of e-vehicles. The Globe and Mail. Audi is aiming to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050, in line with the Paris Agreement. The company has set short-term goals to achieve carbon-neutral production at all Audi sites by 2025 and long-term objectives to phase out internal combustion engines by 2033 and have a 100% electric vehicle lineup. Audi's Q8 Sportback e-tron is the first vehicle to be manufactured entirely with net carbon-neutral production. It also offers the company's fastest charging speeds and can travel 476 kilometers on a single charge. The RS e-tron GT, with 637 horsepower, is designed to be a driver's car with exceptional performance. Audi's commitment to sustainability and innovation is seen as an opportunity for the automotive industry to make meaningful changes and reduce its environmental impact. The move towards electric vehicles is expected to become the standard in the next 20 to 30 years. Albanese refuses to call Xi a dictator. The Sydney Morning Herald. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has refrained from calling Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator, despite US President Joe Biden's recent comment. Speaking at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, Albanese stated that China and Australia have different political systems, with China lacking democratic elections. This comes after Biden described Xi as a dictator, drawing criticism from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The summit also saw an agreement to re-establish military-to-military communication between the US and China, which was previously cut off. Albanese's attendance at the summit has drawn criticism in Australia, with domestic issues such as tensions over the Israel-Hamas conflict and a recent High Court decision remaining unresolved. OpenAI explores how to get ChatGPT into classrooms. Japan Times. OpenAI is considering bringing its popular chatbot, ChatGPT, into classrooms, according to Brad Lightcap, the company's chief operating officer. OpenAI plans to form a team to explore the educational applications of the technology and help teachers incorporate it into their curriculum. They expect to establish this team next year. Holiday gift books, music. Wall Street Journal. The authors of 5 books explore the history, art, and significance of music legends. A Little History of Music by Robert Phillip discusses the origins and uses of various musical instruments, as well as innovations such as musical notation. The Great Singers, From the Dawn of Opera to Our Own Time by Dan Callahan explores the lives and art of famous singers such as Ella Fitzgerald and Barbra Streisand. Energy Follows Thought by Willie Nelson tells the stories behind 160 of his favorite songs. Do remember. The Golden Era of NYC Hip-Hop Mixtapes by Evan Auerbach and Daniel Eisenberg pays tribute to the mixtapes that shaped the rise of hip-hop. Lastly, Les Paul, 70 Years by Julian Bytown explores the history of the Les Paul guitar and its impact on rock music. China will be at forefront of AI, Alphabet's Pichai says. Bloomberg. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai believes that China will be a leader in artificial intelligence, AI, and emphasizes the importance of collaboration between the US and China in both regulation and innovation. Pichai stated that the scale of AI work in China is astounding and that a strong working relationship between the two countries is necessary for long-term progress in AI. He compared the need for collaboration on AI safety to the importance of working together on climate change. Pichai also mentioned Google's upcoming Gemini, a large language model trained on massive data sets, and expressed excitement for future innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Six, your trusted observer from the 6 Degrees world, bringing you the latest updates from around the globe. Let's dive in. In the realm of economics, the possibility of a soft landing for the global economy is being closely watched. While there is optimism that central banks' efforts to control inflation will prevent a recession, rising unemployment levels and the behavior of oil prices remain concerning factors. The actions of central banks, particularly the Federal Reserve, will play a crucial role in determining the outcome. Moving on to the tech world, Alibaba's recent decisions to suspend its cloud spin-off and halt the listing of its supermarket unit have caused a stir. Investors are now questioning who will be held accountable for the company's future spending. Meanwhile, Chinese tech companies Baidu, Xiaomi, and Kuaishou Technology are set to report earnings following talks between the Chinese and US presidents. The outcome of these talks, particularly regarding cooperation in artificial intelligence, will have a significant impact on the company's performance. In the UK, consumer spending on Black Friday is predicted to fall, while purchase scams are on the rise. Fraudsters are becoming more sophisticated, using generative AI to create convincing communications. UK banks are warning customers to be vigilant against phishing scams. On a brighter note, there is hope for Britain's smaller stocks to recover, and investors are advised to exercise caution. Chinese President Xi Jinping's recent visit to the US has yielded positive results, with both sides agreeing to collaborate on climate change and artificial intelligence. However, bigger issues such as trade and competition over technology remain unresolved. China's economy has received a boost, but the longevity of this positive stretch is uncertain. Nonetheless, it is a significant development for Xi, who is facing corruption concerns and faltering domestic confidence. Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook, has introduced new AI-based video editing tools on Instagram and Facebook. These tools aim to compete with other tech giants in the AI market. Speaking of AI, tech CEOs and global leaders have gathered to discuss its impact on society at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Conference. While some express optimism about AI's potential, others raise concerns about job displacement and the need for retraining. Audi is making strides towards achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050, with short-term goals to achieve carbon-neutral production and phase out internal combustion engines. Their commitment to sustainability and innovation is seen as an opportunity for the automotive industry to make meaningful changes. In the realm of politics, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese refrains from calling Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator, despite recent comments from US President Joe Biden. Lastly, OpenAI is considering bringing its chatbot, ChatGPT, into classrooms, exploring its educational applications. And for all the music lovers out there, there are some fantastic holiday gift books that delve into the history, art, and significance of music legends. That's all for today's news roundup. Remember, your thoughts and questions are always welcome. So, what are your thoughts on these topics? Let's hear it. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.